I'm Glenn. I'm here with Col Pearse. He's an Australian swimmer. He's been to the Olympics and he's a Commonwealth gold medalist. And we're here today to talk all things kids sport and nutrition. Welcome, Col. Let's start with what your top tips are for aspiring little athletes.
What's my top tip for aspiring athletes? I think have goals.
Yep.
When I was a young kid wanting to go to the Paralympic Games, Commonwealth Games, World Championships, the first thing I ever did was write a goal down. And once I achieved that goal, set another one, but make it slightly harder. You know, go to states, go to nationals, make this team, swim this time.
And for just sort of a grassroots kid thinking about sport and local passion, you know, what might be a smaller goal for them?
Well, it can be something simple like completing homework tonight,
Yep.
you know, keeping up with my grades, maybe just enjoying the sport, maybe getting through school. There's so many different things. It's what you want to get out of life and what's success to you. And I think for me as a child, as an athlete, some days I literally just wrote, keep up with my reading, make sure I do my homework. It's something simple because when you achieve those little goals, it makes you feel good and it's actually a real motivator as well. And when we talk about sport, you know, if I achieved a certain time or achieved a certain selection or a placing or maybe didn't actually achieve the goal, I would keep working and working on that goal.
Yeah, so having that balanced approach.
Just that motivation to
Yeah.
always strive for those goals.
Yeah. So let's talk kids' nutrition and sport. What are some of the things that they need to be thinking about to perform at their best?
Never be hungry. I think that's the number one thing for kids going through sport and, you know, fueling their bodies with the right foods is just don't be hungry. And of course, you know, eat your fruit, eat your veggies. Most importantly, always have something after and before racing or a game or any sort of sports performance, right? You never want to be running on a football field on an empty belly or on a netball court and feeling hungry the whole time because you know you'll notice that you can't focus on doing well, beating the person, and same thing in school. It's really hard to study and listen to the teacher when your belly's rumbling. So never be hungry.
Great tips. I think with kids too, you know, they're growing and they have so many nutrition needs, so quality really counts. So making sure, you know, they're having those sort of core foods as well. So what are sort of some of the foods that were important when you were growing up?
What are the foods that were important for me? I was big on bananas.
Yep.
I absolutely love bananas. I would always have something like bananas on toast. It was a weird little one I always had with a little bit of honey.
Nice.
You've got the bread as carbs, the banana as carbohydrates, and the honey just to make it taste extra nice. But I think on a daily basis, and what stands out the most for me as a kid was just yogurt.
Yeah.
I think there's so many different options. You can freeze it, you can cool it, you can have it with a smoothie. There's just so many different options for it. But ultimately, yogurt's just delicious.
Yeah.
It's great.
It is, and it brings a lot of great protein for growing little bodies as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thinking about kids these days, they're often playing multiple sports, they've got school and all sorts of extracurricular activities. So parents are busy, kids are busy. What are some of your top tips for families to get that nutrition in?
Top tips, something I did and something I would encourage all kids to do is always pinch a snack from home for something after school. If you've got a long drive between school and a sports training session or school and just a long drive in general, always have something available in your backpack. You know, you bring your books to school to learn, you also need your food in your bag to fuel, right? You don't want to be running around on an empty stomach. So always just pinch a muesli bar, maybe make an extra sandwich. Vegemite sandwich and cheese was a go-to for me. Just Glad wrap, chuck it in your bag. Something easy and something that maybe can last till later in the day as well. I think that's another important thing is something that is going to last all day and you're not going to get sick from.
Yeah, fantastic. Let's cast our mind back. Is it maybe 10, 15 years? What was in little Col's lunchbox?
Geez, that's a long time ago. The first thing I think of is a ham and cheese sandwich. That was a big one, followed with a carrot. For some reason, you know, my hair colour plays a big factor on it. But I just loved raw carrots. I loved crunching on them early in the mornings, and pink lady apples. I think they were the big three, followed with yogurt as well.
Yeah.
And depending on who did the grocery shopping, mum or dad would always sneak in some sort of chocolate milk drink.
Nice.
Something like an Up and Go or just a small little carton of milk was always a big one for me.
Fantastic. And who made the lunchbox?
We did, because I remember, and this is one of my favourite stories about growing up on a dairy farm, was we'd always wake up at 6:30 a.m. every day and we'd have to make our own sandwiches, pack our own lunchbox because mum and dad would be up early milking all the cows.
So thinking about dairy now, it's actually one of the food groups that most kids aren't having enough of. But depending on their age and their gender, they need between 2 and 3.5 serves every day. And a serve could be a cup of milk, 2 slices of cheese, or 200 grams of yogurt. So thinking back, perhaps as a teenager, how did you get those serves, maybe 3 serves in across the day?
Yeah, well, how I would think about it is you've got breakfast, lunch and dinner. So you've got 3 opportunities to add that dairy source to each meal. It can just be milk and cereal, a glass of milk with toast. There's so many different options for that dairy source in the morning. But something like the lunchbox, I loved a ham and cheese sandwich. So just adding extra layers of cheese to the sandwich, because cheese is amazing. A cheese stick with it. Why stop at one? But maybe have a ham and cheese sandwich with a yogurt. Yeah. Just try to find ways to make sure it fits the day perfectly. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And something like dinner, if it's spaghetti bolognese for dinner, just ask mum for some extra parmesan on top, or some extra cheese, or just something to integrate with another meal. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Just find that time across each.
Just find the balance. Yeah, breakfast, lunch, dinner, that's 3. And heck, if you want more, go for it.